There we go, recording.
Brilliant. Wonderful, thank you. So the typical format of these sessions is Kathy and I are going to be sharing 3 top tips on LinkedIn. We will have time, I'm sure, for questions, so do feel free to pop them in chat, and Kathy and I can answer as we go along, or if appropriate at the end. So Kathy, are you okay to share screen? Is that okay?
I will do, yeah. If I can now find it, I have opened it. There we go, share. And let me just go into here. I'll do. It always takes 10 times longer. There we go.
Brilliant. Wonderful. So you know who we are now. So LinkedIn, it would be great to see you actually in chat. Do feel free to pop in your details. We can all follow each other, and then we can keep up to date with your updates. I'm guessing that everybody on this call is on LinkedIn, and as we all know, LinkedIn is the #1 social media platform for building up your professional network, to talk to people about potential collaborations, and also to get more business, which is I know what most business owners want from their social media. But I was going to talk about personal brand actually this morning, or this afternoon rather. Personal brand is a way of us getting in front of people for what we do and how we can help them. Whereas before, LinkedIn 5 years ago used to be a place where you'd put your CV on there, you'd tell people how wonderful you were, how many degrees you've got, how many letters behind your name, and how many kind of years of experience you've got. LinkedIn actually now is a place where you build up the story of who you are, your business journey, and how you can help. And when we think about personal brands, there's go-to people in the marketplace nowadays where we think, actually, you know, if I wanted to talk to somebody in sales, I might go to Rupert Miles, for example, who's a local sales trainer. That's because Rupert's built up his personal brand to a level that if somebody thinks about a particular job or a particular function, he's the first person that comes to mind. There's other people in my network that I would say, same, for example, Ian on this call today. If I ever want to know anything about GDPR, Ian has positioned himself as the go-to GDPR expert locally. So he's my #1, and that's because he's got a personal brand. So it's really, really important nowadays that we start to think about what it is we want people to think about us and what we're going to put in front of them in order to concrete that impression and kind of make that foundation of expertise so that we're their go-to people, we're front of mind. And if anybody ever is looking for an expert, we will be people that they think of. We all know that there's so much competition out there. It's really important that we distinguish ourselves. For example, on my personal profile, my bio says the words Buddhist mother and Essex girl, and the reason why I did that is #1 to include some personality in my bio, because quite frankly there's 1,000,001 social media agencies out there. Why should anybody choose me? Well, I like to think that I'm ethical, I like to think that I'm fun, I'm very much a champion of Essex, so that's why I put the Essex business in there, and my son's the most important important thing. And in my business we make family really important, so my staff, my team are encouraged to put family, family comes first. If they need something, there's an emergency, that will always come above work, and then we organise work around that. So that's my personal brand. And we know from a business point of view, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. We can't please all the people all the time, but I want to give people a flavour of what it would be like working with me. And I like to think that if people do work with me, I'm very down to earth. I don't talk in P's and Q's. I'm very much kind of natural, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and what you see is what you get, and I need that to come across in my bio. So start thinking about what attributes in your personal way of working, in your personal life, you can pull out to put into your LinkedIn to make people think, actually, yeah, I could work with something like that, or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, I think the whole thing to do with personal brand is vitally important across everything we're doing, in terms of being authentic in messaging about who we are, what we do, and how we do it. It all ties in with the concept that although we could probably work with everybody, not everybody is going to be our customer, because there will be personal preferences, and it's about us giving people clues along the way as to whether maybe we are the right person for them to be working with. So where Emma is, you know, an Essex girl, I'm a chief cat cuddler. So for me, people knowing that I'm a cat person necessarily rather than dog person, which is really odd in Norfolk because apparently it's against the law not to have a dog. But we want this kind of stuff to come out because admit to ourselves that when we scroll through people's profiles, if we start seeing stuff that is all about I sell this and I do this and you can buy this from me, and there's no what we'd describe as thumb-stopping content, and that's what we actually really want people to do, is we want them to stop and take some notice and attention of who we are and what we do. And we're not going to do that with bland, we're not going to do that with vanilla, we're going to do that with being who we are, being interesting. And Gary, I don't want to take any accountants into account here, but you know, numbers aren't the sexiest for a lot of people, but I do know a lot of people, a lot of accountants out there who are doing great things on LinkedIn and building their practice up really, really well by just being themselves, but not necessarily just talking about numbers all of the time or when our tax returns have to be in. So, you know, it's about bringing out that personality as much as we possibly can.
Thanks, Kathy. Following on from that, we need to start thinking about the type of content that's going to get people commenting, liking, sharing on our posts. We always say social media is for a reason. It's a two-way dialogue. So if we were the type of people just to put out posts around discounting and offers and, you know, buy this in the next 10 days, it's going to have the effect that people just turn off, especially at the minute when we're all in lockdown. We're being bombarded with more content than ever, especially when we're all kind of stuck on Zooms for 24/7. We need to start thinking about what's going to make people stop and take the time to leave a comment on our post. And human psychology, people love talking about themselves and they love sharing their opinions. So I find, and I know Kathy does too, that when we start to ask questions of people, and when we start to share our experiences and what we think about the particular scenario, we'll get people chipping in, say, yep, I agree, that happened to me, or absolutely, no, I don't agree, and this is why I don't agree. Debate is really good on LinkedIn. It shows the algorithm that your content is engaging, and it shows the algorithm that people are bothered to take the 2 minutes to leave a comment. And that's the type of stuff that's going to get you more views and more reach and in front of people that don't know you already.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting what Emma said there. One of the most effective posts on LinkedIn that I have done in the past few months was I was getting incredibly frustrated one Friday afternoon when I was putting my blog together, and I needed to find an image of a successful, mature woman. And I spent an hour going through various image sites trying to find an image that would fit with this post or with this blog, and I couldn't find anything. Any mature woman I found was gardening or, you know, doing the stuff that apparently older women are supposed to be doing other than running their own business. And I just put a post out on LinkedIn saying, tell me where I can find these images. Today, I think that post has had 1,700 actions taken on it, simply because it resonated with people out there. And I think that this is part of what we're trying to do, is to talk to people about the real life in terms of running our own businesses, maybe how we can help them run theirs, the things that are important to us, so that then they can make that decision over whether we're the right person. Because remember, there are hundreds and thousands of people doing probably exactly the same as we do. They'll be doing it in a very different way because they're not us, but our customers and potential customers do have choice. And this is part of helping them understand whether they're making the right choice by coming to us, or maybe they need to go to someone else.
Thanks, Kathy. I did a post a couple of months ago about the fact that I used to drink 4 litres of Diet Coke a day as a minimum. And I'm probably being quite conservative there. It was probably a lot more than that. So I put this post up about making changes, and while change might be scary, actually the outcome can be amazing. And Ian just asked a question, you know, is it good to ask people to question themselves? Yeah, absolutely. I often use that tactic where I talk about something that I've done and see how people have also had that experience. So one of my latest ones was the fact that I've never changed a light bulb in my life, and everyone was horrified at that, but I've never needed to. And yeah, it just hasn't happened yet. And it's basically because I wasn't curious. I'm not curious about having to learn. And I was referencing Kathy, who built her own website, or refreshed her own website a couple of months ago during lockdown. I was talking about the fact that naturally Kathy is very curious. She wants to have a go at things. She wants to press a button and see what happens. And I was talking about the different personality types of people that want to be kind of spoon-fed, or people that are naturally curious. So that's how I use that tactic, Ian. And I think, yeah, the more you can get people talking about themselves, the better, because they love it. They absolutely love it. My last point on this is, how do we know that people love it? How do we know that our content's working? So on LinkedIn, you've got a cool insights area on your profile where you can see how many people have viewed you from a profile search point of view and who you've got in front of. So I know who has searched for me, and I know what I'm coming up and the words that people are using for me to come up. That's really good, because it means I can check whether my content's hitting the right spot in terms of my ideal clients. So my ideal clients are predominantly kind of 35 pluses. I'm very happy to work with women and men. There's no discrimination there. I like to work with local businesses, and I like to work in 3 different target markets, which is Essex business and print and paper, because that's my background. I was 25 years as a buyer. And coaches, therapists and entrepreneurs, because I've got great creds and case studies in that area. So they're the type of people that I'm looking for. And from a job title point of view, that would be founder, directors and MDs and business owners. When I go into LinkedIn, I can check that both from a profile point of view, i.e. who's coming to find me, but I can also check it from a post level point of view as well. So every single post that I put up on a weekly basis, I'll go back into my LinkedIn, see how many people have viewed that post, and then I'll rank them. So I'll start to understand what type of posts rank better for me. And then I can click to see what company they viewed me from, what their job titles were, and what their location was. So location is obviously quite key to me. I really want to work with local businesses. So that's a number one for me. Job titles, I want to work with business owners, and we tend to work really well with companies that don't have a marketing department at the moment. So I like to work direct business owner to business owner. And then from a company point of view, I can check that I'm working or hitting my target markets in terms of sectors. So all of that's gold dust, and it helps me ascertain, did that post hit the spot? Am I delivering a solution to somebody's pain point? And if not, how do I tweak it?
Yeah, and I think for me, it's this point where the magic happens. I think that people spend an awful lot of time considering, this image or that bit of text or something, and that is important. But actually, knowing the impact that thing has is vital, because it's only by knowing those numbers, looking at those numbers, and analysing that stuff over time, that you can see what is your sort of sweet spot in terms of the type of content that your audience is engaging with and is looking for. In fact, we had the last session in our masterclass program this morning, and insights was the subject of that. And one of the things I was saying to that group is the fact that we never do anything 100% right, and we never do anything 100% wrong. There's always grey areas at both ends of that. But it's only our insights and the numbers that are going to tell us which bits are working and which bits aren't, so that we can hone it and we can polish it, so that we create this oiled machine. As business owners, what we want to be able to do is to use our time as efficiently and effectively as possible. If we're spending a lot of time creating great content for LinkedIn that isn't actually having the impact that it should be having, then that's just time wasted. So we need to actually understand what's happening there so that we can make sure everything that's going out from us is having the type of impact that we want it to have. And if we don't know what the numbers are, we won't know the answer to that.
Great point. Thank you, Kathy. So let's come to the end of our 3 top tips. I'm going to come on to the next screen, if that's okay, Kathy, and then we'll break for questions.
Yeah. So this is us. This is how you can find us. There's our LinkedIn company pages, but you can come and find us as people as well on there.
Following on from this session, we have the 2-hour workshop on LinkedIn this Friday, so we invite you to book along to that. It's on Eventbrite, and I'll be emailing everybody a copy of these slides this afternoon anyway, and the link will be on there. It's a 2-hour practical workshop where we go in, we look at everybody's profile, we help you optimize for what you want to be found for, and we go through best practices, how to prospect on LinkedIn, so how to find more customers and more people that can pay for your services, and go through how to get recommendations and how to basically put your personal brand on LinkedIn. So do join us on Friday if you can make it. If you can't make Friday, but you do want to attend the session, book on and we can send you the replay on video as well. Yeah. As Kathy said, please do connect. So should we stop sharing now and taking some questions?
Yeah.
Hey, feel free to put them in chat or take yourself on mute. Off mute, whatever.
It might be nice to hear some voices other than ours.
Hi there, Silvana.
Hi, Silvana.
I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on the best LinkedIn profile photo, the type of photo?
Do you mean the one of you or the one that sits behind you?
No, it's not the cover photo. It's the actual profile photo.
That's it. That's it. It needs to be you.
What type is it? Because I've been on LinkedIn for many years, and some of the profile photos are casual photos of someone on holiday. Some of them are black and white in suits. Some of them are, there's different types of variations, and they're all for business. And I work within, I make lots of contacts within recruitment consultants, and some of the recruitment consultants' photos are totally different from others. Once, as I say, some are casual, some are business-like. So what are your thoughts on the typical type of photo that one should produce for their profile?
Headshot, eyes to camera, smile. That's it.
Black and white?
Eyes to camera, smile. That's what it should be. And anytime you have photographs taken or anything like that anyway, they should be brand driven. They should be personal brand driven. It should be that if somebody walks into a room and they meet you face to face, that they should recognize you. So, you know, we don't necessarily want something taken from this far back where they can't see you. And we don't want something from 20 years ago when you might have had red hair. So, you know, it's very much who you are, and it just needs to be your headshot. Remember, the profile photograph, they expect you to upload a square one, but they turn it into a circle. So don't have anything important in the corners. So, but that's what it needs to be.
Kind of following on from that, it's all about how you want to be perceived, isn't it? Yeah. And the people that you want to work with. Well, those people who are casual, that's fine. If that's their audience and their tribe and you want to talk to more of those people, then great, because you're going to attract that because of how you are coming across to them. But, you know, LinkedIn is essentially a professional platform, isn't it? So if you are selling a professional service, then you just got to think about how people are going to see you, because that's an instant reaction.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And also black and white.
It's all personal preference. If that's what you want to do, then you can do that. There isn't a hard and fast rule. I do know some people who use black and white images, absolutely fine. I know some people that use color images, absolutely fine again. I think the key thing is does it marry with you as an individual? Is it telling your story? Is it representing you? I mean, I know, Emma, your like Uber profile photograph is in black and white, but actually on LinkedIn you use one that's in color, don't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just use the same one everywhere because I'm lazy.
Continuity. I've got a question, if that's okay, and it's in regards to having a separate business page on LinkedIn. How important is that?
I think it is important because you're actually starting to reach people from two separate places. And I think it also allows you to differentiate slightly between the type of content that you're sharing as well. So for me, on the business side of it, I would do more business driven things. So for example, if I'm running a training course, or sometimes if I'm sharing an industry based thing, or if I've got a new sort of program going or something like that, I'd probably do that on my company page, whereas oh my god, this stuff happened to me today would be on the personal profile. But I always share from my company page onto my personal profile.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you.
I'm going to answer Ian's question now. He said, how important is it to have an all-star profile? That's not visible to the outside world, but it is a measure of how well you're doing. So yeah, no one else knows that you've got an all-star or not. It's a way of them ranking you. So it's a brownie point you can give yourself, Ian.
and we
ask a quick question, if that's
sorry,
okay.
Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Are there any new features on LinkedIn that you would recommend that perhaps have come in the last few months or the year or whatever? I mean, I've been using it for about 8 years now. I do love it. I'm always keen to learn new bits and pieces, and but people keep telling me about different features, like the insights you just mentioned. I wasn't really sure what that's about. Is that a relatively new feature?
No, Insights has always been there, but I was just thinking, actually, for you, have you applied to be a live creator on LinkedIn yet?
No, don't know. What is that?
So just like Facebook Live, where you do live transmission of videos, you can also do it now, but you have to apply. And yeah, it's just a short form. So have a look at that, and basically, if they approve you, you'll be given the option to go live on LinkedIn. And the benefit over pre-recorded videos, that your network will get notified that you're live, so they'll see a flash in their top screen say is now live, and they can tune in to watch your videos. Yeah, definitely worth an application if anybody has got.
Yeah, there's one guy that does that, and I keep getting notifications that I've never met him before, but he's always going live, and I think, well, who is this guy? But
that's it. Yeah, that's
and
that.
You'd be ahead of the curve because a lot of people aren't using it yet.
Yes.
Because it's not a massively advertised service, and you do have to apply to do it. Okay. So not that many people are using it at the moment.
Brilliant. No, I'll give that a go. Thank you.
We look forward to being notified that you're live, Gary.
Yeah, I've got my special little tool for video, and someone told me to get this thing, and
I've got one just like that, light pink.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I'll get cracking on that later. Thank you.
Great question. Thanks, Gary. Any more? Does anybody else have any questions that's scratching their head on LinkedIn?
I have.
Hi, Tina.
I keep getting messages from LinkedIn about trying out the pay and pay one.
Yep.
What do you prefer, the normal or pay?
After every single person's been to our workshop on LinkedIn, they leave saying, I was just about to spend £50 a month on LinkedIn, and after coming to see you and Kathy, I realised that I don't need to because of all the tips and tricks that you taught us. Yeah, it's something that we go through on Friday. When you see how much prospecting you can do even on the free version, I can think of better things to be spending £50 a month on right now.
Yeah, it's. I think if you're in the if you run a recruitment company, maybe it's worthwhile. But actually, for run-of-the-mill general business, making connections, building relationships, and being able to prospect across LinkedIn, you definitely don't need the paid-for version.
No. So I've had quite a few people look on my LinkedIn page, but I can't communicate with them because they are paying. So I'm just thinking, well, perhaps if they do need me at one time, then they'll contact me directly, because
there are ways you can communicate with them.
Is there? Oh,
Definitely. Yeah. We talk about invites and connection requests on Friday's workshop, but as Kathy said, there's definitely a way of who's been looking at you. There's definitely a way of getting in.
Yeah, because I'd rather not pay.
Oh yeah,
We'd rather not pay.
Only pay for what you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. So that's wrapped up today's session. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to follow up this afternoon with our slides with a link to Friday's workshop. But as ever, if anybody has got any specific questions about their business that they'd like to answer, either from a business planning or a social media point of view, please do connect with us, drop us a line, and we'd be happy to help. And I think that just leaves us to say, stay safe, everyone. Take care. And
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.